Support for AZPM comes from Hughes Federal Credit Union, a local not-for-profit cooperative offering 17-month and 30-month jumbo certificate accounts with other tiered options to diversify financial portfolios. Details are at hughesfcu.org/elevate, member NCUA.
Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess, and on this edition, Marana residents try to stop an immigration detention center, but can they?
They're a federal contractor. They've invested $15 million in this thing.
The point-in-time count tracks homelessness.
We saw pretty significant increases in people experiencing chronic homelessness, substance use, severe mental illness.
And on Flandrau's 50th, there's more to see than just the stars.
I wasn't expecting the aquarium/marine biology down here. That was surprising.
Starting us off today, opponents of an immigration detention center proposed for Marana's shuttered prison are urging the town council to block it. About 200 people gathered at the Tortolita Middle School in Marana Thursday night to listen to legal experts and advocates against the for-profit facility. Councilmember Patrick Cavanaugh said he doesn't support the detention center, but the town can't stop Management and Training Corporation, which bought the prison from the state in July.
They're a federal contractor. They have a right to be there, have a right to make the money. They've invested $15 million in this thing. Now, if we do oppose it, we do push back, tell them we're not wanted, what's going to happen? They could sue us for all of that plus times 10.
AZ Luminaria reported last month that zoning to convert the 500-bed facility into an immigration detention center is already in place, and that Marana officials told the private prison company all they needed was a business license and any permits for renovations or improvements. Chandler has rejected a proposed AI data center development. The City Council's unanimous no vote came after hours of public comment on Thursday. The proposed data center gained public attention after former U.S. Senator Kyrsten Sinema urged officials to approve the project in alignment with the Trump administration's AI initiatives. In shutting down the proposal, Chandler Mayor Kevin Hartke says the city is looking for other options than data centers for the business district, which includes Intel and Wells Fargo. The city of Tucson is looking for more than 500 volunteers for its 2026 point-in-time count to find out how many people are homeless in Pima County. Volunteers will get on-site training to interview unsheltered individuals at encampments, bus stops, washes, and other public spaces based on an electronic survey. Kat Davis from the city of Tucson says the event will provide a snapshot of homelessness in Pima County and share insight into homeless population and service gaps.
In this last year, we saw pretty significant increases in people experiencing chronic homelessness, substance use, severe mental illness, HIV and AIDS. And so as we receive this data, we can kind of compare that year over year and see, how the population is changing and if there are increases or decreases.
The unhoused will receive a McDonald's or Circle K gift card for their participation. The point-in-time count will be January 28th from 6 to 11 a.m. Republican Congressman Juan Ciscomani has reintroduced legislation to designate Chiricahua National Monument as a national park. During a House Natural Resources Committee hearing, he said for a century, visitors from around the world have been drawn to the wonderland of rocks.
Chiricahua National Monument is a vital economic driver for Wilcox, Arizona. As you all know, supporting economic development in rural communities is essential, and it is our responsibility to enact policies and designations that benefit the people who call these areas home.
Ciscomani co-sponsored the Chiricahua National Park Act in 2023 alongside Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar. Senators Mark Kelly and Kyrsten Sinema co-sponsored the Senate version. Chiricahua National Monument dates back to 1924 when President Calvin Coolidge established it by proclamation. Arizona's unemployment rate hit 4.2% in September, up 0.4% from a year prior. However, the state still added more than 37,000 jobs in the last month. Doug Walls with the state's Office of Economic Opportunity said annual job gains were recorded in 8 of Arizona's 12 major industry sectors. He said government, information, manufacturing, and trade and utility sectors declined in year-over-year job numbers. A state lawmaker wants to ban fluoride in our drinking water. Cameron Sanchez has that story from Phoenix.
Republican Senator Janae Shamp introduced legislation to ban fluoride in public drinking water this week. That comes after Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy called for states to ban fluoride earlier this year, citing a 2024 study showing a correlation between high fluoride levels and lower IQ in children. But that report studied much higher concentrations of fluoride than Arizona water contains. Since Kennedy's call to states, both Utah and Florida have banned it. Fluoride is found naturally in water and is restricted to a certain level in drinking water. Some cities, including Phoenix, add it to public water supplies and have done so for decades to prevent tooth decay. Cameron Sanchez, Phoenix.
Scientists have some new information about discoveries from the asteroid Bennu. Tony Perkins reports.
The University of Arizona-backed mission ended when its OSIRIS-REx sample container parachuted into the Utah desert in 2023. U of A planetary scientist Jess Barnes notes the rocks from Bennu were immediately compared to meteorites collected on Earth. But she says the meteorites are marked from their uncontrolled landing on the planet, while the Bennu samples are not.
And so there's a record that we're missing from the meteorites that is preserved in these samples from Bennu because we've gone there, collected them, brought them back, and kept them safe.
Barnes says one surprise among the minerals found in the Bennu samples is sodium-based salt, similar to the kind found on household kitchen tables on Earth. She explains those minerals are completely unlike those found in meteorites. I'm Tony Perkins, AZPM News.
You can hear more about that on Arizona Science. Find it on our website. The Flandrau Planetarium and Science Center on the University of Arizona campus celebrates its 50th anniversary this weekend. Tony Perkins has more on the building's history in this in-depth report.
Michael McGee has worked at Flandrau Planetarium since 1981. He had arrived as a student on the University of Arizona campus and was immediately drawn to the happenings in and around the gleaming white dome, which the U of A had just opened a few years earlier. Flandrau became a popular meeting place for student star parties on the grass-covered mall, right outside the front doors. But there was a problem. Large campus streetlights made the area too bright.
And we've got a 16-inch telescope in an observatory attached to our building, and it's just flooded with light all around. So what are we going to do about that?
Not wishing to spoil the festivities, the university painted the side of the lights facing the planetarium black.
It meant that when we had viewing through our telescope or special events going on right outside our building, we had a much better, darker area to be able to view the sky.
Flandrau Planetarium welcomed Tucsonans on December 13, 1975, with a program that began with classical music from Prokofiev's 7th Symphony. The audience took their seats beneath the dome and watched the solid blue lighting magically turn into the city's night sky. A spectacular sound system and automated imagery took public school children and university astronomy majors on journeys across the cosmos.
All right, everybody. A couple brief reminders of what we're working on here.
Planetarium shows have stirred the imagination of tens of thousands of students during Flandrau's 50 years. Today's U of A star watchers view classroom presentations about the rings of Saturn and the planet's many moons. With new technology came a series of improvements at Flandrau. Through the years, it's evolved into a place where young visitors also learn about bees, bugs, and butterflies. Amy Zubia explored Flandrau's downstairs exhibits with her family.
This downstairs area, I wasn't expecting the aquarium / marine biology down here. That was surprising.
The planetarium switched to a full dome format in 2014. Instead of using projectors, Flandrau presenters now use data visualization to take visitors on a ride from planet Earth to the edge of the Milky Way galaxy and back. Through it all, Michael McGee has come full circle, from volunteering as a student in the 1980s to running the massive projector that placed the first stars in the Flandrau sky. He's seen the wonder in the eyes of countless visitors taking their seats beneath the dome.
And you'd fade the lights down to darkness, to almost nothing could be seen except maybe the exit signs. And then you would start bringing up the stars slowly. And as you did, inevitably, I don't know how many people would be, ooh, you know. It's just, they didn't know what else to do. You were out in the night sky.
McGee says watching a presentation at Flandrau today sends visitors on the same inspiring journey it did 50 years ago, to step outside and view Tucson's real horizon. The show is not always about the stars. I'm Tony Perkins, AZPM News.
And now you're caught up on the stories we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess, and we'll be back after the weekend.
Support for AZPM comes from Hughes Federal Credit Union, a local not-for-profit offering tiered options to diversify financial portfolios, such as 17-month and 30-month jumbo certificate accounts. Details are at hughesfcu.org/elevate, member NCUA.